This is the Bonus Section Podcast, episode number 96. Be a dragon hunter. Are you the type of person that knows you are meant for something greater in this lifetime? And that somewhere inside of you, there's just this bigger version of yourself trying to break through. But despite all your self-development, you just can't seem to find the way up there. Well, then, hey, you're definitely in the right place. I'm Danny Griffin, the founder of The Bonus Section and the host of this podcast. And I'm a person just like you, trying to learn how to live the most fulfilling life possible. So to help you take immediate action, if you want to move in a better direction, we take the notes from each episode and we post them for a short period of time at freethinkingtools.com. All right, let's get started. Be a dragon hunter. I love this one. Oh boy, this is a good one. So, and it combines a lot of the things that I've learned along the way about trying to be more productive, try to hit more goals. And there are a lot of people that influenced me in this particular one, and I'll try to mention a couple of them here. So if you want to do further reading like I did to arrive at this moment, I'll turn you in that direction. Okay. By the way, be a reader. I tell all 5 of my kids, be a reader. Be a reader. It's a life changer. The insight, the perspective, just the empowerment, the brain growth. Oh, just be a reader, right? All right. And read some physical books too. Even if you're a digital reader, read some physical books. There's something magical about that kinesthetic physical opportunity. I know you're holding your iPad. I get it, but turn some pages. It's delicious. All right. The first thing is we're all afraid of the dragon, aren't we? I mean, well, maybe not some of you that are tough already and you're beyond this conversation. I get it. But this is for all of you that, you know, and there's always another dragon, by the way. So don't get comfortable. Dragons are everywhere. And what I mean by a dragon, it's a concept of what scares us. We're all afraid of a dragon. There's a dragon in our life, and some of them are really big. Some of you might be out there with a massive dragon that you have never confronted, and it just eats you up every day. And you started to do harm to yourself. You're so afraid of the dragon that rather than confront it, you'd rather harm yourself, numb yourself, take yourself out of the fight altogether. And I feel for you. And I'm calling out to you. Okay? I'm calling out to the little voice that's still, no matter how much you beat down who you really could be, you can't kill it. You can't. It's in there and it wants to win this fight. But I get it, that at times it seems so unbelievably overwhelming that maybe you really feel like it's the end of the road for you. I get it. I, as a coach of people, I talk to people in this situation all the time, but I'm telling you, there's a hero inside that can take on the dragon, and you have to just start to feed it. So how do you do that? Well, this is where I will refer to a book that I really enjoyed the title, and I just enjoy him as a writer. His name is Brian Tracy, and he wrote this book called Eat That Frog. So in my early days of coaching and training and learning, I was trying to just get very practical about goals and reaching goals. And at the time, that was the most important thing. And in Brian Tracy's book, I learned from him, it was the first time I saw that Aristotle had referred to man, meaning mankind, as being teleological or goal-seeking. And that was good. I like that. So out there, you have to have this North Star, and I talk about it a lot here in the Bonus Section podcast. There has to be a goal out there that you're moving towards. And then Tony Robbins talks a lot about, happiness is progress towards that worthy goal. So we're making that progress towards a worthy goal, and that's what gets the positive chemicals going, and that's what makes you feel good. And from time to time, you might even feel happiness. Happiness might come and visit you. It is temporary because there are many, many moments of pain, suffering, setbacks, etc. But they're less and less when you keep a very clear, concise goal. And yes, it changes and it moves, but you keep one out there and you keep moving towards it, right? But how do you deal with all these setbacks? Because you wake up every day and maybe the dragon is just the thing that's the overwhelming, scary thing. But I can't even get through the dang day. I can't even complete this test. Forget about my dragon. I can't even eat my frog first. So that's where Tracy's book really, really helps all of us. And I'm going to tell you that The night you go to, how about the Monday scaries, right? Let's talk about the Monday scaries. A lot of people get to Sunday night and they're scared of Monday. Monday's a scary day because we have to go back to school. We have to go back to work. It's the back to whatever the burden is. And we just it was so nice to curl up in bed and stay in bed in the morning. Or, we had a little extra time on the weekend to enjoy ourselves. And now we have to get up in the morning. We have to go back to this burdensome thing. Okay, well, what if you just, instead of doing that, you leaned into fight the burden. You leaned in to learn how to eat the frog. So tomorrow you have that report due, or you have to give that presentation, or you have to be there early. Just sit still for a little bit of time on a Sunday night, for example. Take the magical pen, which is the mini sword. Okay? This is the mini sword. If you're on the video, you can see me holding up the mini sword pen. And then go to a pad of paper and write down the list of frogs that you're going to have to deal with on Monday morning, Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning, whatever night. You're going to have to deal with this. Write it down. Because when you can identify the frog that you're going to have to eat, it becomes a little less ugly. It becomes a little less intimidating. And all of a sudden, as you're looking at this list of frogs, maybe you're overwhelmed. Oh, there's a whole bunch of them. And Tracy says, go after the biggest, ugliest one first and eat that frog. This is a really important exercise. I cannot emphasize enough how important that is. And it's personally therapeutic and helpful. So you don't need anybody else to write down a list of your frogs. And you can circle the biggest, ugliest one first. But now you start to do that. And now you're feeling a little bit more empowered. And now your self-image is up there a little bit. Self-esteem's come back a little bit. You're conquering these little things. But oh no, don't talk to me about my dragon. Don't talk to me about that big old thing that happened to me. Don't talk about that big old thing that haunts me. I'm too small to take that thing on. Thanks for the advice on the frogs, Griffin, but hell no on that dragon. Well, why? Why? It's our perception, right? Because remember, the frogs were the scaries, and we didn't even know how to fight them. We didn't have any weapons. We never took the time to weaponize it. We just sat there and we stressed out, and we let the anxiety eat us up as we shrunk down under the covers that night, or we stressed out in the morning, or we were grumpy on the commute and we wouldn't look anybody in the eye. We did nothing to fight back. Nothing. But when we did, we were able to eat these frogs. And all of a sudden, they didn't seem so big because the perception changed. That was it. And so what you have to understand is that the ferocity or the grandiosity, meaning the size of your dragon, is your perception. It's the way you see it. It's the way you paint it. It's the size you give it. It's the big fangs you give it. The flame is as long as you make it. You're the author of that thing. Yes, I know that it's a real thing. I know it's a real thing. I get it. I'm not diminutizing it. I'm just simply saying the more you give it life, the bigger and uglier and meaner and scarier you make it. And the more you withdraw into your cave, your psychological cave, you get there and you put up all excuses. God forbid should you take a chance to poke at it a little bit. Or maybe poke it a little bit and run back into your cave and deflate it a little bit and deflate it a little bit more. See, because that's the next point here. It takes action to fight your dragon, but it takes forward action. You have to go and get after it, even if you retreat quickly. So you ate the frogs and you keep doing that. So you build upon the little frogs first. You take them on and you just eat them. You snap them up. They're like snacks now. Monday is no longer scary. It's something you lean into. It's the competition. It's now the hero or the heroine or the persona inside you that feels heroic is starting to emerge. And you're feeling this way and you can win. So now you kind of peek around the corner and you poke at that dragon with the same stick that, you chased those frogs away. And then you retreat, but it felt a little bit better. And you're not as scared. And all of a sudden, it felt a little bit easier. Hey, maybe you get nipped and it hurts and you retreat all the way back. It's called a snapback effect. I get that too. But don't you dare stop moving forward. Because here's the bonus section today of the bonus section podcast. You see that once you begin to develop the courage and weapons to fight your dragon by eating those frogs, it's best to seek the battle right where your dragon sleeps. Jordan Peterson talks about this as seeking out the dragon in its lair, where it lives. See, you let it come and scare you back into where you live. You let it come to you. You let it take the fight to you. You let it shrink you. That's a decision. And that's a perception. See, that dragon is only as scary as you make it or you allow it to be. And it could be a real dragon manifested in somebody in your life. I get it. But look for help to do it. You don't have to fight the dragon alone either. You can build an army. But you've got to start taking action and moving in the direction to fight it. And then as courage comes, you can keep it at bay for the rest of your life because you've become a dragon slayer. So even if you slay that one or put it in its permanent place and slap it upside the head and keep it sleeping for the rest of your life, there'll be another one that crops up, but you're ready now. You sense it. You perceive it to not be as big as the one you conquered, so you attack it. So you get out there and now you're eating these frogs like snacks and you're slaying dragons on the regular. I know all this metaphoric stuff. Oh, it's so easy when you say it like that. Well, it's not easy to say it like this because you know why? I know the burden of trying to slay my own dragons. I know what it feels like. I know the challenge. Maybe I'm talking to myself on the bonus section podcast most of the time. So I feel you. I empathize with you. That means I can feel what you feel. It's the challenge. Sure, we have our own dragons. Oh, you don't know my dragon. I know. I don't want to know your dragon. I got enough of my own. I got the big ones that I have, and I've gone after them. And that's what part of this podcast, this passion podcast is that it is the slaying of the dragon. It is the constant repetition each week, knowing that pain and suffering is coming, knowing that you will be in pain and suffering, trying to meet you where I can encourage you to pick up your sword. Let the little tiny voice of the hero inside get up and go take the fight to the dragon. All right, let me summarize this again. Be a dragon hunter. You do have what it takes. Even if it feels tiny, it's in there. You cannot kill it. We all have the dragon hunter in us. So the first point was we're all afraid of the dragon. We all have our own dragon, and we all have a perception that our dragon is unique and it's bigger than yours, whatever you might say. We all have it, and we're all afraid of it. So we have to take it on. Second point was, well, don't take it on right tomorrow. But start by taking on the frogs first. Brian Tracy's book, Eat That Frog. Wake up and just deal with the Monday scaries by dealing with the biggest, ugliest frog you have to do. Get it out of the way. Don't wait till the end of the day. Monday morning, 6 a.m., buzzer goes off. You get after it. That frog, you eat it. And the rest of the day is less painful because now it's not the biggest, ugliest frog. It's the lesser ones. But it takes action to eat your frogs and especially to fight your dragon. So start poking at that dragon as you eat these frogs. Test it. See what it is. Deflate it a little bit more and a little bit more so it gets smaller. So that ultimately you end up with a bonus section here because you'll realize that once you begin to develop that kind of courage and the weapons to fight that dragon, it's best then to be super proactive and go get him. Go find him where he sleeps and take the fight to him. Okay? That's where it is. All right, let me summarize it by saying, look, we all have problems and challenges that cause us our own pain and suffering. But we all most certainly have our own dragon who scares us into hiding. It happens to all of us. But it's time to prepare to fight yours by eating a few frogs first, and then you'll become empowered to seek out your dragon where it sleeps instead of waiting for it to awaken and spit fire onto your life in your dreams. All right, remember, you can take immediate action to get moving in a better direction towards your goals because we take the notes from each episode and we post them at freethinkingtools.com and we give you instant access. Also, don't forget, you can subscribe to this podcast on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you listen. We also post our content on YouTube, so don't forget to subscribe to the Bonus Section channel. We'd also appreciate it if you would join our mission of becoming people for others and you'd share our content with others just like you. You owe us nothing. Just share it with somebody. Talk to them about it. Help them fight their dragons, maybe, okay? But remember this, If you're listening here today and you listen ever to this podcast, I want you to hear me say this loudly and clearly. Nobody's coming for you. Nobody. So go get to work on yourself and a better plan to reach your own goals, and we'll see you in the next episode, hopefully, to motivate you to do just that. Thanks.